So in this video, I'm going to show you my project intake process for my kind of company brain idea that I've been sort of working on building for the last little while. So I just came from a meeting with a client, and it's kind of a perfect example to show how this system works, kind of from start to finish. So we met at a coffee shop with the client to talk about their new website project, and I take all my notes on my Remarkable, which is right here. And this is just kind of to quickly write things down as I need them. And then when I've done, what I do is I have a couple shortcuts that I've set up, which essentially allow me to dictate the kind of the meeting when it's fresh and send it to Claude to then process and add it to my Apple Notes. So what I basically do is you tap the shortcut, which is the dictated text shortcut, and you speak to your notes, and then the notes get sent off, and then they get added to Apple Notes in this sort of format. So it kind of looks something like this. And then so it basically summarizes the meeting, summarizes the action items, and then cleans them up, basically. So I kind of have like a coherent version of my rambling based on the meeting, but then I don't have to write them down specifically. It does it all for me. And so then I have the summary, and it automatically adds it to my notes file. So that way it's kind of captured and I can kind of do with it what I please. So that's sort of step one. Step two is I want to take this and I want to add it to my project management system or my project brain. And so what I've done here is if I open up what I have here is basically a draft of all the notes, which I've copied and pasted. And at the top, I've said, can you take the below notes and add them to the DC Vans project file? And you'll notice here that my email address is being sent to the Encompass brain. And so this is kind of a rule that I have set up that if it comes to this email address, it will process it. It only works if I send it. So basically, if it comes from my email address, then it will process. Otherwise, it will just get ignored. And so I'll send this off to basically be processed, which I'm going to do right now. So if I send this off to be processed, it will then get sent to an automation, which looks something like this. And basically it gets processed and it either has attachments or it doesn't. And so every minute you'll have it'll kind of check to see if the emails that reach the specific criteria are met, and it will then process it. So I'm just going to wait here for the polling to be done, and then I'll kind of explain to you how the process works. Okay, and so it ran. So I just got a notification that says task queued successfully, which means that it's added to the queue and it's now going to be processed by Claude Code, which is kind of the company brain system that I have set up. And there we go. So we just got a notification that says request completed. And so I'm going to open up that request and see what it says. And it says, I've added all the meeting notes from the January 22nd to the DC Vans website project file, my Encompass Claude knowledge. And it's basically given me the information for all of the notes and everything that I've taken. So if I go back to my company brain, all of my notes have been added to the brain. So all the tasks, all the milestones, the deliverables. And then if I click expand full project record, I basically have more detail. So requirements from January 2026 meeting. I have the sales goals. I have everything that we talked about in the meeting. And the only thing that I don't have, which I noticed, is that I don't have the quote, which was what I initially provided. So that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my instance of Claude Code here. And I'm just going to say, can you add the quote for the DC Vans website, which is 10 to 12K Canadian, to the DC Vans website project file. And so I'm going to hit that, and it's going to get sent off, and Claude Code is going to do its thing. Okay, so Claude Code is finished doing its task what I asked it to do, and it's updated the quote. And so you can see here that in the project record for the DC Vans website project, it is basically there. So all the information from my meeting, it's been automatically tracked and captured and sorted and processed. Tasks have been created, and I have basically the full project file ready to go in my company brain. So it's there. That's basically how I capture information. And then from this point on, I can take this and I can kind of create other tasks based off this information. So if I need to do research, it has the full context of the project and the client to be able to go and do that. And it's all kind of centralized to my own repository system that I can kind of maintain and send emails to like I am talking to a person. That's basically how it works. If you guys want to know how it's done and want to deploy it yourself, link in the description. I'm kind of just trying to figure out interest right now. So send me a note, say you're interested, and we can talk about it. And I can send you some stuff to kind of help you set this up for your own company.